What is going on? We'll see who shows up here. We'll have a little open session of chitty chat. Sure, fine. Maybe find a spot to put this camera down. It's kind of bright over here. Maybe. And for whoever's new to these things, yeah, I just got off of a little chat that I ended because there was some instigators and some alligators. Let's see who shows back up. Mr. Bizzles. What is good? What is excellent? Hey, you like that? You like that, Loomis? Yeah, it's pretty genius. But when I keep my top knot up, it puts this up like a. I feel like I'm in like a Halloween version of some weird Halloween gay KKK. We'll call it the gay KK because I got the whole gold shining. The Hollywood gay KK. Well, these kind of clothes are only reserved for people like me. There's only one of these available. I went to this awesome Egyptian store, and I've been there a few times, and every time I go there, there's one thing that's nothing like anything else they have in the store, and it's on sale. It's so weird. Like, this was like the only thing like this that they had at all, and it was on sale. And I was like, wow. And the last time I went there, I had this awesome gold and silver robe, and I was like, oh, this place literally has something here that was like waiting for me to purchase it. Yeah, Zet, the last one was a good one. I had a lot of fun on that one, but I shut it down because it was about, well, in the title it was Flat Earth, and the hi-hat magician, yeah. It was Flat Earth and shills, and so luckily I got through an hour and a half of the show before any showed up to try to without even listening to what I was talking about. Just came through trying to cause chaos and disorder. Yeah, trolling through there. I always wonder what they get paid for real, like, and most of them, I mean, that goes into like how brain dead are they to begin with, like, yeah, making $8-10 an hour on doing that. I mean, man, it's basically equivalent to working at McDonald's, At least there's a little more dignity to doing it, in the sense of, at least McDonald's, people are gonna see you working there, and it's like, oh, this motherfucker works at McDonald's. Or like, if you're trolling on the internet for $20 an hour, like, getting paid to do that shit, that's very funny. Professional. But anyways, yeah. They only could, and see that's the thing, is like, they're to a place, not they in a concern of monetary gain, like, say somebody that runs any kind of legitimate business. These are people that don't have another choice in the world, These are trolls, crisis actors, these kind of people, like, they ain't got other choices, and then the worst thing is, like, how to navigate that. I feel kind of sorry for them or whatever. But then I don't because I'm like, oh, that's just the state of consciousness they're in. We gotta like, but it's like, man, that's how these people get along. That's what they do. That's their. It's kind of like if you have parasites in your body, how do they survive? All of the diseased things that you're putting in your body, they eat. So it's funny. I don't often have any kind of trolls and things on my shows because I don't know. I tend not to talk about things that would bring them around. But it's funny. You speak the words and then they show up. Literally in the title was, and as soon as I put flat Earth in the title, something funny happens, right? You can't say that. But yeah. So we'll see what else shows up here. What up, Zet Chrono? Yeah, Zet. I mean, go check out my last one, man. If I mean, I don't know. We'll see who shows up here. I figured nobody knew I was gonna do it right now because I told everybody I was gonna come on way later. But I just figured I'd do like a little. I'm kind of like my friend is holding me hostage right now because she's doing a video conference in the other room, and she got the hoopty, so I'm kind of just stuck here until. And I don't have any other clothes, so I can't just like. I mean, I can walk through the city in this and whatever, but kind of wanted to go home and change. So I figured I would be here for the three of you, and whoever else shows up, and we'll just chitty chat about whatever. But this thing here shines though, huh? Yeah, pre-plan to troll the troll. Well, they only, you know what? For me, it doesn't really bother me, other than the fact that they just be effing with the people in the comments. That other people kind of buy into it. Like for me, it's just humorous, you know. That's like that's like when somebody tries to heckle a comedian, they're about to get roasted. Like, come through. We can roast anyone. But see, that's the thing. That was actually part of the comments. The part of the last show is saying these people are uninsultable. They're already the lowest form, the lowest common denominator of life. Like they can do no worse. They can be no worse. They can't even. They don't even comprehend how ridiculous they are. They just get in the way. It's like you trying to cook, and they're just. It's like the dog that's in the kitchen where you're trying to cook. It's just in the way. Hmm. Yeah, pre-troll the trolls. I was actually thinking of doing a show called like trolls. Do all the major keywords, and then like do a show that was like saying like I support them and I'm all about their work or something. I don't know. I mean, because in the larger thing, I mean, why not? You know, everybody got to pay their bills, right? Zet Chrono. Um, the larger perspective, I think that no, I don't care. In the sense of that, like, yo, all we can do here is like care about ourselves and then one another. Like that's it. Like this larger thing that I think you're probably speaking to is probably more along the lines of like subtle infinities, all of everything he does, you know. And well, it may be a thing, but what do we got at the end of the day? Like I got me and I got my friends, then my family, then the people that I can start to surround myself with and care about that, you know. My there's it goes into anything else that we talk about that is really big, like global or otherwise, like large, like a large concept. Like what can we do about it? What can you do about it? Can we stop the, everybody? I did this show a couple days ago on the Federal Reserve and banking and cryptocurrency and all this, and basically like we've been known that the Federal Reserve was a fake agency since the 1970s, right? What did anybody do about it? Nothing. Nobody could do anything about it. So what's the you know? I don't like to be apathetic about things, but I also like what like to just further your question, a real agenda to genocide people of white European, like what? No, and then the farther thing is like I don't. The genocide thing I think is more of just a fear mongering tactic. I'm not saying that weird things haven't happened throughout the ages amongst and against certain species and races and whatever. Like I'm not saying that obviously, but in the larger context, like I don't think anybody's trying to kill anybody here. I think everybody's just trying to make other people sick, and then profit off of the sickness, fear and consumption, sickness, disease, and we have the cure of the pill, because the only the only energy in death is if you're a real deal necromancer, and in that way you're not even dealing with death, you're dealing with the spirit. And if you deal and people that are dealing with dead spirits, I said this in another show, and people should take this to real knowledge. Like, you don't want to be playing with, you don't want to be in debt to a dead spirit, because the spirit ain't dead. It's just in a realm that you can't play with, right? And so that's what a lot of people I think happened. They got indebted to a realm that they're not part of, thereby trying to pay off something they can't pay off to a trying to sell the soul. You can't sell the soul because you don't have a soul. They sold part of their energy and part of their spirit to their realm. But like where we are now, like people don't want to be dealing with they were dealing with necromancy, and we deal with necromancy in the sense of every time we pull a dollar bill out of our pocket, that's a talisman's idol to a dead person's spirit. And so where are we now? Is there any real value in killing people and getting the population down to 500,000 as people get all weird about and whatever? It doesn't seem to be. Maybe, I don't know. And it seems like if it was the agenda, they would just go do it. It would just be done. There's so many things that I always go, you realize like these people with these major sets of powers, if they wanted something done, it would be done. There would be nothing that anyone do about it. So we kind of just like, the only thing we can do here is, as I always get to, like, man your ship, your unit, and then find things around you that are like-minded and support those systems. And I think that within the larger system, there's a big overarching system, which is energy. And then there's all sorts of like centralized, businesses and agendas that are full of spirits and people. And then there's groups of them and groups of them. I don't think there's too much there's too much toe stepping going on. I think everybody's just like, hey, get in mind your business and mind the business of people around you that have got your business interest at heart, and not even say business, but just run amongst the same kind of spirit, the same kind of energy. So hopefully that kind of digs into what you say. Yeah, what is it all? That's always the thing, is like at the end, I was listening to Little Ram Dass earlier, and he's like, I bet everybody came to this little event here to listen to me speak, hoping that they would take notes and get something out of this so they could bring it with them. But I say to you, where are you going? You're already here. There's nowhere to go. You're already here. We're here. What else? So let's just figure out right now, are we good? And then go forward and enjoy our experience. Because what else do we got? I've been trying to figure this game out just as much as anybody for the longest time, and realized the whole time I'm just wasting my time trying to figure out what the game's about, because in reality nobody cares. See, that's the thing, is everybody, you got a couple people in media conglomerates saying, oh, everybody cares about everything. But in reality, nobody really cares. You walk down the street, nobody really cares about anything other than themselves, their dog, and their immediate relations. And that's what we're dealing with. You drive down the street, somebody's driving their car on their phone. All they care about is them. They don't even care about themselves, really. So nobody really cares about what's going on. So if you care about yourself, you're about 95% ahead of anyone else on the planet, because most people don't even care about themselves. They don't even know what's in front of them. So if you start to just go, oh, I care about now in this moment, me, like, man, you ahead of the game. Then you can start to work with energy. There it is, karmic over. There's nowhere to go and nothing to do. That was almost his exact words. There's nothing to do. So when we're accept that, like right now, hold on. Okay, I'm comfortable. Now what? What would I like to do? See, that then it becomes, once we accept that there's nowhere to go and nothing to do, then we say, okay, well, there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. What would I like? Where would I like to go, and what would I like to do? Then we're part of that whole manifestation through desire and creating. We're desiring and creating to do something. It's being okay here now than saying what's next and how do we create said environment? How do we create such a spectacle? How do we create the circus? How do we how do we participate in it? How do we expand our awareness? How do we make more money? How do we um, live off of less? How do we, you know, that's what people once you get settled into being whoever you are, whatever you are, then it's easier to navigate. But everybody else is too busy trying to find the right thing to wear, trying to find the right way to be, the right way to do this. They're too busy trying to, calculate for the future when they ain't even sitting in their own shoes. They ain't even know, they don't even know they don't even know where they're sitting. So, but yet they're trying to find somewhere to go. Like, well, shit. It's not that there's nowhere to go. It's not that there's nothing to do because there's plenty of places to go. There's plenty to do, but it's understanding that where you sit, you must be comfortable there. How are you doing? How is your experience? How's it going? What up, Zetetic Jim? Well, thank you. What up, Andrew Christensen? Turpentine's a great idea, man. Turpentine's real good at getting rid of the wormies. I like to use turpentine along with oregano oil and honey inside of a mixed drink of basically. Gin is a good idea, but I like using it with tequila. If you use a really good tequila with some turmeric or some turpentine, some honey, and some oregano oil, psh, that will clean you out. That's the goal, right? And so when we understand the real deal, what the agave plant and the medicine that they were making, when you get good tequila and you use it as a medicine, it's very good, especially teaming it up with. We'll see other people say don't use the honey. Some people say use white sugar. And some people are specifically say, no, that's the problem. We don't want white sugar because we don't want to add more chemicals. Some people say, well, no, we want the white sugar because they're going to come out and eat the white sugar. So white sugar versus regular raw sugar versus honey, that's up to debate. That's up to, and some people say castor oil too. I think they all have benefits because all of those things are going to be, the castor oil and the honey are both going to be carriers. The sugar or the oil are going to be carriers for the medicine, right? Meaning the turpentine is an oil, and the oregano is an oil, so the carrier of that works. The castor oil works to get it into different places. So the oil is going to get into kind of slightly different places than the sugars will get into. So we can look at it that way. And then the alcohol is just a great cleansing agent in and of itself, plus all of the other the wonderment of just having a shot of tequila in you. Oh, karmic oak run. There you go. That's the number one thing. If you were to meet God, whatever you consider God, right now, what would you ask for? What would you say? 99% of people would be like, nobody knows. I barely know. I don't know. There's some things that I can go, oh, yeah, I would desire, I would want. And so I can kind of do little things to, if I want ice cream, what am I going to do? I'm going to walk to the ice cream store. You know what I mean? There's little things I can do like that. But then there's larger things I can ask the universe for. Like how, ask the universe as if I'm asking anything but myself to try to link it up so I can, obtain these things. But in the larger perspective, most people don't think they have access to, they don't have access to being magical, creative forces themselves, or do they believe really in some sort of Jesus figure, or do they really believe that universe is going to provide? They're just kind of going through using mechanical, material means to obtain more mechanical, material goods, without even going, oh wait, hold on, can I use this thing to alter all of the stuff that's going on in my environment, in the whole universe, to line things up so that it provides me with what that of which that I desire. Hold on, I'm gonna let my little puppy in here because my puppy is jamming at the door. Hold on. You want to come in here, meaty? No? Okay. Okay, see you later. Well, apparently the dog did not want it. Zet Chrono. Oh, I thought you said your wife is. I didn't realize. Okay, have a fun day, Zet Chrono. I was like, you got a wife? Your Wi-Fi. Damn, Andrew Christensen. Thank you, man. You know what's extreme? See, look at the universe. Dude, see, now we're just talking about this. Before I made this video, I was in the kitchen and I'd pulled out some potatoes and some carrots. And I said, you know what I want? I really want Ethiopian food. And so I looked up a recipe. I wish I could push a button on here. You could see my what I was searching for. I was looking for a recipe on Ethiopian carrots and cabbage and potatoes because it's one of my favorite things. And I didn't know, did I want to order it? Did I want to cook it? And then I went and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like really cooking this right now. So let me have this this banana and something. But I want it Ethiopian. And as we're talking about manifesting through the universe, I wish I walk you into the kitchen right now. I got the potatoes and the carrots sitting on the counter. That's word to life. I'm telling you. See, it's just like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, and I mean, you said thank you, man. I so much appreciate it. See, and we talking about manifesting things like. You could have just said, oh, I had $20 for whatever. But you literally said the one thing that I was just talking about, the thing that I had in my mind that I was desiring, which was Ethiopian food. The two favorite things in the world for food-wise, Indian and Ethiopian. Indian because it's extraordinary and it's expansive and there's so many flavors. And Ethiopian because it's just so like, and it's hearty and it's there. But thank you, Andrew. That's wicked, man. That's crazy. Mr. Bizzles, a first-time fast, if you're saying to do a water fast, I'll say line yourself up to do 7 days. And when you get to day 3, know that that's going to be the most challenging day. Day 2, the end of day 2 and day 3 is going to be very challenging. And you're going to be like, damn, if I have to go through another day that feels like day 3, I don't want to do this. And most people will fail at day 3. But then when you get to day 4 and you're just like, I think I could do this. And then by day 7, you'll find out how far you really want to go. And if you're at day 7 and you feel comfortable, and depending on what this also depends on what else you're doing with your life. It depends on, are you going to work every day? Do you have a 9 to 5? Are you around people? And so I'll further that in a second. If you got a job that you're going to be around, do not tell people you're going to fast. That's one of the number one rules for fasting. I've never really explored that in any of my 101s on fasting, but you do not tell people you're going to fast because they'll destroy it. It's the same way of if you have a wish or something or desire, you don't let people know about it because they'll destroy your plans. Even if they don't mean to, a lot of people just happen to, be negative about things. But if you tell somebody you're fasting, they're all of a sudden going to be a nutritionist. They're going to be a doctor. You're going to die. They're going to be you need to just avoid talking. Like, no, if people ask you, you need to learn to like have just a nice way of bullshitting somebody. Like, I already ate. You need to learn to just lie to them. Like, hell, I already ate. Oh, no, and actually you wouldn't be lying. You just happened to eat 3 days ago, right? You can't tell people because they'll interrupt it. So That's one of the major things for fasting is keep it yourself. It's yours. You did a shot of mugwort tincture, zetetic gym. Oh, that's awesome. Well, did you make it yourself? Did you make the tincture yourself? Because now you got me inspired. I'm about to go and try to find some mugwort herb. I got a bunch at my house. I gotta get some vodka so I can make some tinctures. How bitter was that stuff though, huh? And when you say you did a big shot of it, you're talking like a little shot glass full? Mr. Bizzles, yeah, is that you've been getting more energy out of that, huh? You find yourself a little more energetic. Haha. Yeah, you know what, Andrew? I wish I knew the Bible verses better, but I knew that that was in there. Like when you fast, do not share because they will. Yeah, that is definitely sure. That's to do any kind of fasting, but especially, yeah, sticky icky. Yeah, I mean, after I've done my fast, when I tell people, like I'm at the point where obviously I'll just be like you. I have no qualms if somebody's like, oh, you're gonna da da da. I'm like, you're an absolute idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about, do you? And then I'll be doing a short fast or something, and somebody will say something, and oh no, I'm fasting or whatever. And then they'll have something smart to say, and I'm like, oh, when's the last time you went for 40 days without food? Then I'll play the real good, big game with them, and then we'll see how much they know about nutrition. I'll ask them where they went to college and things like that, and that's a fun game to play once you've fasted before and you're very comfortable with fasting and the knowledge, to play with people. But prior to that, it's you know, you gotta keep it to yourself. Yeah, yeah. Except for the past few days, you felt really good. Did you, maybe, yeah, because a lot of times, you go through these levels when you're eating. You could be transitioning into a state of, finding some cleansing or healing from, you know, if you've been doing it for a month, you might be back maybe 3 years, 4 years into your history of cleaning out things in your body. So you might be cleaning out things that were going on in your. It's hard to do the framework on what point in time you are in your life that you'll be releasing toxins and emotions when you're doing eating every day. But during a fast, if you were to do a straight water fast, then every day back is worth a year basically. So on your fourth day of a water fast, you'll be releasing essentially things that were going on in your body 4 years ago. So if you had an emotion, you got in a fight with somebody and you ate a big meal and blah blah blah, those emotions will crop up. Those will come out, and those are actually some of the battles that you'll fight where you'll want to eat again, because right then you'll be thinking, you get all of a sudden you might be like 8 days into a fast and be like, you get all like upset, you'll be pissed about something. Ugh, and this fast is stupid. I don't want to eat. I'm just gonna go eat. Right, and then if you were really to just like take a deep breath and think about it, you might find that, oh yeah, 8 years ago you had a really blowout fight with a girlfriend or something, and you didn't process that emotion, you didn't process that feeling, and that feeling became stored emotion in your body. You debated a doctor about a fruitarian diet. That's like there's a joke there somewhere. That's like debating. I don't know. I don't got it in me right now, but yeah, yeah, a doctor that has to study nothing to do with nutrition and knows nothing about what protein even means. That's fun. Mesobes. Are those like are those like the standard like sambusa, like the samosas, those kind of like folded up, like crunchy outside things, Gary? Yeah, Mr. Bizzles, some things are growing and some things are releasing. Growth, there are some deals of some little bits of pain with growing, but more often than not, it's releasing of things. Yeah. Oh, the bread is the stuff, man. Injera, injera. They use this old ancient grain and they let it basically sit out for about 48 hours, so it starts to ferment slightly, and so you get these nice bubbles in the bread. Oh man. And the first time I had it, I was like, "Oh man, this smells like Band Aids." I called it Band Aid bread, and it was really interesting because it has that kind of texture of like wrapping yourself up with like a sprained ankle or whatever. But then I'd had it a couple other places. Man, oh man, and it's just so great. You just get to eat the way you should. You know, use your hands the way you should and eat properly. No stabbing food with forks and knives. That's actually like ancient. This is where chopsticks. This is why chopsticks were invented, and why they did stir fries in Japan, China, Japan, whatever. I hate to mix those two cultures up because I know if I called a Japanese person Chinese and a Chinese person Japanese, that they would end up being pissed about that. But the more Asian, let's say the Asian cooking, the reason that they stir fried things, one is because of the amount of flame and the amount of gas and the temperature they were using. They wanted to cook something as quick as possible, and and also keep the knife in the kitchen. They don't want anything in the when you're eating that is violent. They want no violence towards the food. This is why when you have a chopstick, you don't poke at things, that you pick things up and you place it in your mouth. The idea of having a fork jabbing something is violence towards whatever you're eating. Even though they're eating meat, they've left the violence and the whatever was going on in the kitchen, in the wherever it occurred. That there was a separation, and this even gets into like all sorts of different like Jewish culture and things about people should be mowing your grass or people should be doing these certain things for you because you shouldn't have your hands in doing things that are um, basically death related. That you want as much of a karmic distance between you and whatever, so you don't have to deal with the repercussions. So there's always is an interesting thing that goes on there too. But yeah, the chopsticks were so there's no violence, and there was just pick up and eat. There'd be no fork, no knife, no need for it. That's why they did stir fry, chop things up. Mr. Bizzles, did you were you heavier? Were you like heavier set? And how much of that do you think out of those 14 pounds do you think was literally stuff that was in your intestines that maybe you had like just weight sitting in your intestines? Because there's a lot of people that like can lose a lot of weight just basically because they're literally full of shit, full of crap, right? That like bigger people tend to have more stuff, just stuffed into their intestines, just waiting. Yeah, you're overweight. So I wonder how much of that was like initially coming out as just like small intestines, large intestines pushing things out, and then obviously that's cool, man. Losing some lbs, that's cool. Benefits of a sauna. Manny Farm. I found lots of benefits in saunas. Some people don't like the idea of the infrared ones, and some people don't like the ideas because you're cooking. They think you're cooking your internal organs. The ideas of like old sweat lodges and stuff, though, I think there's quite of a good use in it. I don't know much the infrared saunas. I don't know though. Some people really don't like them. Um, and to me, it's I haven't done enough research to know, but it seems to me like maybe not a great idea. But a sauna though, a sauna is a good idea. I mean, you just want to get you're raising your body temperature, like sauna to a pool. Hot to cold. Those hot and cold showers, like jumping through those extremes. To pull you to basically pressurize your system to release and open and close your veins and then your lymphatic system. That's awesome stuff. And not even to mention like the farther, like, if you're doing them for a little longer, you can get into like altered states of consciousness. But not that you really need to use those to get to altered states, but it does do something. Yeah, this is working better over here, I guess. Um, that's awesome, Zetetic Gym. Energy trails of your hands moving. Nice, nice. See, isn't that cool when you can actually use herbs that are just standard herbs that realizing if you use them in correct dosages and you use the right amount of things that everything I've said this in plenty of videos. I've made plenty of videos about it. Everything is psychedelic. Everything is possibly hallucinogenic to a degree, and it should be. But our bodies are so past prime that it would take such a large quantity to do something that we end up like, oh, we get these little tinctures from the store, and not only is it already cut down to next to nothing because they're trying to make a profit on it, but our bodies are so out of whack that the amount we're taking isn't going to have much of an effect. So if you take a large dose and you especially if you're making it yourself and knowing the source, you'll see what these plants really do. There's a lot of plants that are like, oh man, I'm really getting effect from that. There's a lot of plants that if you just used them in the right amounts. That's wicked. Gary, Gary, you quit mowing your lawn. You look like the kind of person that never mows his lawn, anyways. I mean, and that's a compliment. I just assumed you. I just assumed you never did. I just assumed that was your. Cut it if you want, y'all. Feel free. Yeah, like why it got to be cut? What's the problem? What's the problem? And all of a sudden you're gonna start finding some really, you know, go Gary, go do yourself go mow it one time through, and then go get yourself like go to like a local florist or whatever, and get yourself just a handful, like a big bag of different flowers and whatever. Just throw them all over the yard, man. All of a sudden, see if your neighbors are complaining when you got this beautiful lawn full of all of these different colorful flowers. That's what's up right there. Probably, probably for $20, you can get yourself a giant bag of just a mixed bin of all sorts of craziness. And you probably find yourself some cool seeds in there that you might be able to make tinctures out of, and use the plant life itself to do some some space travel. Oh, Michael Nolan, no fap. I talk about this like just about every other show because people are so interested in it, and I just really need to hurry up and make the video so I can just point to it. But it's with anything that's energy, man. It's like how much buildup of energy do we need? How much? What will you do with it? If you go to work every week and you're building up currency, what are you building it up that currency for? What are you going to spend it on? Now we're talking about a spiritual and physical energy that you're upgrading, and what's the purpose? Is this to build up to make a child in the future? Is it to build up the energy just to have it? And there's other people that really shouldn't be. If you're a 16-year-old kid, if you're a 17-year-old grown man, what I mean, you're getting there. eh, there should be seed that would be not stored up in the body because you could cause mental chaos. Let's just put it that way. So then, and there's people that need to be getting rid of energy because, as I've got into before a little bit, is what kind of energy is it? Some people have bad. You can have bad energy. But because oh, energy is just energy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And some people can just take energy and transmute it to something better, but there is bad energy, and sometimes getting rid of that energy is the better idea. Like to think, just being overweight, well, yeah, fat is energy, but getting rid of it would be better, wouldn't it? So in the same way, some people have a buildup of energy that like fapping, and I can't even, it's so funny, no fapping, no jacking off, whatever, don't ejaculate. Like the term shouldn't be that. The term should be no ejaculation. It shouldn't be don't masturbate. You should masturbate and then learn how to control energies in the body. That's the Taoist practice. Like that you should be able to massage your feet, your legs, your testicles, your the whole kit and caboodle. You should be able to like touch yourself everywhere and build up energy inside of you without expressing and letting go of seed. But that's not for beginners. That's growing up that wouldn't be the idea. So it's always about what are you building up the energy for. So and that's I guess that's just the major question. I think it's healthy. It's healthy for most people. Most guys and should be. Most guys shouldn't be out here, uh, you know, watching porn all the time, jacking off. I mean, there's something to be learned from some of it. There's something to be gained from some of it. But again, we can't just blanket statement say it's all good or it's all bad because it's not the way it works. But certainly, more often than not, you probably want to be saving more seed, but probably being more I don't know, intimate with yourself. You should be more intimate with yourself without being, finishing the act, right? Is that? And if you want to ask further, if is that helpful, Michael? Karmic Oak Run to build up thighs and calves. Man, that's a lot of question there. Because there's like obviously goes into like I would need to know more about your diet, your kind of activities. What do you do all day long? Are you sitting down? What's your sign? Are you an earth sign? There's a lot of things that go into that, especially when you want to change where you're holding weight in the body, and a lot of that too. It's a very big. That's a lot of questions, and then it goes into like mentality. Like, where do you hold energy? Like, I have a friend that has, well, she feels the weight of the world on her shoulders, and her shoulders and her neck are already always tight because of the way that she perceives the world. So then, therefore, she holds energy in certain places. So all of that goes into that too. So that's a lot of questions, Karmic Okran. But the easiest way is to, if you can ask yourself those questions and come up with the obvious answers. Which if these are the answers and this is where it's staying, then well, let's flip the equation around and say, okay, I've had a mentality that I think I have a job where I'm always sitting down. Well, I should probably get up and walk around a little bit. Or I have a mentality that I'm always saving things for next week. Where maybe you should start spending a little more. Like just things like this. I don't know exactly what they'll be for you, but it's about just moving energy around the body. And if things are getting stored up in certain parts of the body, whatever it might be, that's a direct result of thinking patterns and processes. Which, obviously, if how old ever you are, you probably in your 20s somewhere. Those are pretty ingrained patterns that will take a while to like start to retrain in your mind. But one of the biggest things always is increase in the amount of distilled water. Distilled water is going to be one of the best things to balance out all things in the body. And obviously, as I've always gotten to, decrease salt. So I don't know what your intake on all of that is. So what up, Flo? What up, Unstance? Yeah, see, Michael, I dig you there. Like, yeah, I see that too. How much of that do you think is a direct correlation to nofap, and how much of that is mentally you going, I'm stronger and I'm more confident, and you exude that because there are times in my life I know that if I have a girlfriend, then girls are more attracted to me. Can they smell the pussy on me? Like let's be honest. That's a pheromone. Can they smell that and like, oh, he's getting laid. He's desirable. Whenever I drink piss, when I'm drinking piss, but then all of a sudden what that has done to me is I'm in a better mind frame anyway, so people are more attracted to me. So there's all sorts of things this could be. I'm not saying it's not literally physically doing something, but it's also psychosomatic. It's also uh, it's also a mental thing going on there too. But yeah, and not jacking off and ejaculating can do all of that. So I mean, if your goal is to have a hundred good girlfriends, go for it, man. As again, we always have to kind of start with a goal in mind, not just like I'm just going to build up a lot of currency and energy. There you go, Mr. Bizzles. Yeah, sometimes you got to get that nut off. That's because the goal of everything in life is sexual, and then beyond the goal of everything, well, it's not even the goal. Everything in life is sexual, and then beyond that, like, what is it? Well, it's to be in constant orgasm. Isn't that what anybody'd want to live in? If somebody could just like, here, you could just go ahead, just live in orgasm forever. Fuck yeah, I'll take that pill. Let's go. Who would say no to that? No one, because that is the goal, to be cosmically orgasmic all of the time, and how to get to states nearing that, to have more heightened senses and abilities and awareness and whatever. And so if not fapping gets you there, then you know what I mean? Cool. Other people, the idea would be to have more intercourse with less ejaculation. I mean, that's of a higher order for me than just not jacking off or not having sex. I mean, I'll take the Taoist path. We'll have sex all day long. I'll be cooking, having, the ideas. I'll be cooking, making love to you while I cook. I will be appreciating you, and all. That's the goal in everything. It's not just not climaxing, not coming to the conclusion. Because some people get obsessed with that, and that's always like, I like to talk about that part of it. Whenever I'm talking about anything that people want to know about, there's always that kind of cliff or that bad part to it, and it's that people become obsessed with it. They become obsessed with fasting, and they become obsessed with wanting to be healthy, so they always think they're sick and need to detox. They're obsessed with all of these things that actually become the crux of the disposition they have, and it gets in the way of getting to wherever they want to go. Unstance, why must you say it like that? Then I just looked at your picture, and I visualize you doing really disgusting things, and I hate you for that, Unstance. That's, I hope you don't have it. I hope you don't have any animals. Or like a sheep. I hope you don't live. You probably do live on a farm because you're from Wisconsin, huh? Oh, god damn it. Oh, those sheep are in trouble, huh? Oh yeah, Michael Nolan. I've talked about that extensively too, man. Women should be masturbating more. Men should be masturbating less. Women are internal. Women are women in Women gain energy from an orgasm. Men get rid of energy with an orgasm. The orgasm of a man is an apple coming off of the tree and planting a seed in the ground. Then it's done. Then the woman is the one taking the tree or taking the seed and turning it into a tree. A woman's orgasm is the tree. A man's orgasm is planting the seed in the ground. A man loses energy during an orgasm. A woman gains energy during an orgasm. When it's because for a man it's electrically charged forward, where a woman compresses it into herself, thus creating a baby because she holds that. But even without making the child or the baby in the physical form, they're taking the energy into their basically like a magnet. The woman is the magnet. The man is the electrical magnet. One's pulling in. So a woman should be doing a lot more masturbating. Ah, there you go. Okay, okay, Karmic Oak Run, 39, Dust 6 months pregnant. Uh huh. Yeah, so I think I mean, I can help you with that further. Like probably not on this here, but can contact me on the my email. But what's your do you feel like that's a lot of? You said you're taking a lot of water. Are you ingesting more salt? Like, are you ingesting like inorganic salts? Because that's going to be a big dilemma there too, obviously. Hold on one second, y'all. Nice is manipulative. Yeah, no, yeah. That's I can't really. I'm trying to get through what you're trying to say there, Michael. I'm trying to decode what you're saying there. Massage for health. I mean, I don't think there's a wrong way to use massage for health. Karmic. Like that's it's one of the best things people can do. You know, Skin on skin physical contact, along with the movement of lymph and musculature and tendons being moved and bones and joints. Like, you know, massage is always a good idea. In fact, yeah, I just got a massage the other day, and quite since then I've been much more, you know, much more loose and fluid, and of the mind too, because you're literally releasing all sorts of things into the system to get cleaned out. So, massage is genius. Massage is like massage is like sex. Even a bad massage is good. Oh yeah, Michael. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you talk about the people that have reciprocation mindsets. Can you be nice without being? Yeah, that's, somebody asked me that question the other day. Very funny. It's always subjective to how you want to term the word nice and the word kind. Somebody asked me that exact question. That's very funny. Yeah, it's always people have a perceived reciprocation, and some people don't have reciprocation in their minds. People that are free givers, givers of energy, they 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 pay it forward and expect the universe to transmute energy and it come back to them. But people that live on small microcurrent units, they give something with the exact expression of I want that back from you. And in fact, most people, they work, and this is where banking comes from. They think of terms of not only do I want what I gave you back, but I want it with interest. And this is the mindset. This is what's decayed man. This is called usury. Usury is reciprocation disguised as people wanting, a return on investment, right? That's usury. I give you this much. I give you an apple. Next week I need back two apples. How can I give you two apples? You know, two apples don't exist. Yeah, well, you better find a way to make another apple. Yeah, instance. Yeah, good, good. Thank you for all the laughter faces. I'll take those as much as LMAOs. Oh, really, karmic? Interesting. Hmm. Well, there's also, There is also a child that is obviously requesting things. Hmm. Yeah, Illumis, you jumped in at the right time for when the weird things were going on. You know, when you're having this conversation with somebody and some couple words come out and then somebody sits down behind you and you're like, you missed the whole beginning of that. That's not. When people jump in for that really racist punchline and you're like, no, there was a real good joke along with it. And then. Then you explain the rest of the meal, explaining yourself. Oh. Hmm. So what else? What else? I got a few more minutes as I told everybody I'm hostage here, and so my friend wants to go somewhere. Cause I can't be running around the city again in this outfit. Yeah, yeah, of course, Michael. Cool, cool. Oh man, this door is bothering me. There's just enough wind in here. Give me 1 second, yo. Mm-hmm. Okay. What up, Kitesh? Yeah, Loomis. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, that's the analogy of if you had you have a bunch of money and you got $1,000 and you go to hand it to somebody. You're like, well, what are you doing? Why are you giving me all this money? Like, what? Where'd it come from? Is this stolen? What do you want? Yeah, people don't. People. A lot of people have a hard time being receivers of things because then they assume that there's some sort of that usury on the other end. They're so used to the banking cartel and people's position in the world. It's like I gave that motherfucker, and they better be paying me back 10 plus interest. That's how people have lived their lives and perceive things. So when people come through, really just generally, just coming through Santa Claus style, just giving gifts, people are like, what? What are you doing? What do you mean? Santa Claus ain't real. I bought those gifts, and I bought them on credit. Uh, those Christmas gifts. Some people are paying for Christmas gifts from 2006. You know what I mean? Like that's real. Like some people got credit cards. They got interest 20% rolled up since Christmas in 2006. Yeah, and so thus the economy, the Christmas economy. I mean, I'm surprised. I'll bet you could probably write the words into Google, the Christmas economy, and probably someone's written a book called that, and how Christmas generates what percentage of economy and like how it funnels into everything to do with this culture and how much people are in debt. The amount people are in debt between Christmas and their house and their stupid car. People buy houses that are way too big, cars that are way too new, and they get credit cards for Christmas. Like between those things, man, shh, yeah, that's some shackles to the debt society. Yeah, Loomis, that's funny, man. I've been chatting with a friend of mine about that quite a bit because she's always been, and like myself too. Like both of us were very much givers in things that we give things because we just don't see the world like other people, and it's hard for us. We've always been hard. It's hard for us to receive things. We're like, because we got maybe because we know that people are like expecting something in return. So I was like, well, thank you, but what am I going to do with this? What do you need? Yeah, you know what? Thank you for mentioning that. That's except it's not my fan, so that's bothering me too. But I will let said occupant of this house know about their dirty ass fan, um, Mister Bizzles. I'll let her know. Yeah, it sucks. It's shitty gifts because you don't want the shitty thing someone's gonna give you. Yeah, like when somebody gives you something that's like in their mind kind, but in your world it's like I don't want that you know whatever it is, it just doesn't fit into your lifestyle. They give you a big like a T-bone or a ham for Easter or whatever, and you're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm not really into dining on swine, and then you end up like with one of those Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes where you've offended someone when you didn't mean to because you won't accept their gift, but you didn't want their gift. that's that's always that's some Larry David special right there. Yep, yep. Yeah, that's why I just don't the Christmas thing. I just laugh. I'm like, nah, I ain't even participating in that. I ain't giving gifts. I don't do that. I don't give gifts around the holidays. That's especially important. The present should be the rest of. Yeah, there we go. Nah, we ain't having it, Manny. Not around here, nah, B. You keep that. You keep all that. We'll just teach people how to. I've seen that sitting there. Just teach people how to dream. Yeah, man. Christmas is a what a what a weird thing. The amount of holidays that people are expected to go spend money on garbage ass shit. Oh yeah, isn't that nice? You thought that was CGI? That look at check it out. Let me see if I can do like some CGI. That was pretty slick though, huh? You catching that whole thing right there? Whoa. Let's see if I can get my. There we go. That is pretty fresh, huh? I do like that a lot. I might have to start. I might have to start making these videos a little more high tech. I'll get a better camera or something, and like have like a whole, have a whole thing. I have like a whole green screen and shit. We'll go crazy with this. We'll turn it into like high octane green screen. We'll have like I don't even know. Have to have some behind the scenes people working on shit. Or I can just do really low budget shit like just grab that little thing right there. Yeah, interesting. When we the language Michael Nolan, everything is energy, money, food, sex. That's why we should use it wisely. Well, see, wisely is a concept of perception for the person because what's wise for you is not wise for another. And instead of using it wisely, we should term it as an investment. You know, I think there's a very valuable thing that we can do with adjusting little uh, keywords within our language that then we can re-trigger ideas in our mind instead of saying I'm going to spend time or use time or waste time. If we start investing time, we have a whole different concept of its value. So just switching something as simple as in your you'd say everything in everything is energy, money, food, sex. That's why we should know how to invest it wisely. Then what do you have? Use it seems like it's using it seems like it can be lost, but we know that energy only changes form and shape. So if we invest it, what happens? We'll be getting something in return. Not only have we have this energy that we've invested into something. Like you would never say that you used your energy of semen. I used it to create a child. No, you'd invested it into a child. See, it has a whole different ring to it. Has a whole different energy to it. that then the energy becomes a creative potential rather than, oh, here's this outcome that's just going to break down and fail anyways. I can't believe I used all of this on this. I used all the grape jelly. Now I gotta go get more. Yeah, yeah, that is. There you go, Michael. A lot of people do ejaculate their money away on bad stuff, and they spend their money on getting things so they can ejaculate. I mean, that's about the size of it, huh? I mean that first nice car that you got, and that, you know, whose joke is it? Like, you know, the only reason men have houses is because a woman would never be with you if all you had was a car. They wouldn't be fucking you in the car. You gotta find a real special lady, you know. So that's the only reason we be sleeping in cars. We'd be fine. We don't even need a car. We wouldn't even want a car. We'd just be living outside. It wouldn't even matter. Yeah, exactly, Michael Nolan. That's the whole game here, and I think people need to be more conscious of people that use the word conscious or consciousness as some sort of like, ooh, it's all conscious vibes over here. We're raising the frequency, raising the consciousness, and people just use it like, oh shit, they're raising consciousness. You got $50? Give them $50 to raise consciousness. And these people out here doing nothing. They're just out here like, well, the media platform is all about raising consciousness and awareness about the new world's 2.0 system software operating, how we can possibly manifest new futures through the creative potential of conscious awareness of everything. Yeah, applause for my next guest over here. He was also going to be talking about something to do with conscious awareness and bringing up and raising awareness towards the consciousness and the conscious community. And if you're part of the community, then apparently you're aware and you're conscious. So you might be out there just like throwing that shit out there, like, but doing nothing with the word. They're not representing it. They just put a label on, but they, you know, that's that old Tommy Boy reference. Like, I can sell you a good brake pad, put it in a box, and I can sell you a quality brake pad, or I can take a shit in a box and mark it guaranteed. You just tell me what you want. And there's a lot of people taking consciousness, shit in a box, marking it conscious, and then handing it to people. And people got, I can't tell you how many people out here that I'm just like, I feel like arguing with more people claiming to be conscious who's spreading bad word, who's spreading bad news, bad business, bad ideas. And when I say bad, I mean negative, like detrimental to the community, that are all glossed up and shined up as some like, ooh, here's the next new thing, check it out here. And Loomis, yeah, I could do a little Morty. I could do a little Morty. Although my character trait tends to be obviously a little more Rick like. But yeah. I was just watching them last night. Some Rick and Morty was genius. A polished turd is still a turd. Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you, Pia. Mr. Bizzles, OJ instead of water. In terms of what you mean, to do a fast for your first fast? Is that because you asked me earlier, right? Yeah, do it, man. I mean, we're doing OJ fast. It's a whole different experience, but yeah. If you don't want to jump right into the water, man, you have it's a different experience. It's a different process. You'll feel different. It'll do a different kind of cleansing. It'll give you a different amount of energy. So yeah, get into OJ, man. OJ is good stuff. Orange juice is definitely a great cleanse. I've done lots of orange juice. I've never done a strict orange juice cleanse, but orange juice and carrot is good stuff together. Yeah, I mean, Katesh, but the bigger thing you say, then again, the bullshit is needed if people are buying it. Well, let's start at the beginning. People are buying the bullshit because this culture, as has been explained by many culture creators, people literally as their job that have created and designed cultures, have designed systems and architected systems for people to go into school systems to be dumb assholes, to then consume things that they don't need, that they have no conscious awareness of consuming. So it's like to say that they're choosing the poison. No one would choose the poison if they knew that it was poison, but people believe it to not be poison, and people believe things to be that are healthy to be unhealthy. And so it's actually designed that way. It's so there's there's only, as I like to point out, there's a very small number of people that have any ability to make any discernment and choice, and it's up to those people somehow to kind of disseminate the information and say, hey, there's a little more going on here, that those things aren't good and healthy choices and righteous. But people, a lot of people aren't in a position to make any kind of choice about anything, good or bad or indifferent, because they know, they think their choice is leading to something that it's not. They go to the doctor because they think the doctor is helping them, when in absolute fact there's about a 99% chance that doctor is going to be poisoning them. So, in that sense, we have to kind of get back to the beginning, that culture was designed by people. This is without question. And so when we say culture, we mean people. And when we say people were designed, we're saying like giant school systems, factories, the whole thing. And so then the minds become actually working mechanisms, not for the person to make choice about delivering themselves from evil into better working conditions, better life, better being. They actually find themselves making a choice in between a douche sandwich and a shit burger. There's really not much of a choice there. When other people are like, oh, well, actually, there's good stuff over here. They'd be like, oh, no, that's not the good stuff. I've been told these are my two choices. Yeah, so Mr. Bizzles, you want the benefits of just drinking water. Well, then the benefits would be, Mr. Bizzles, to drink water. You know? There, there is water in orange juice, but there's also like the extra thing that you get out of just drinking water is that your body will stop all of its processes after 3 days, and you'll start going into deep cleaning. It basically would be like you shut your entire house off to start cleaning everything. You go through and you clean the whole house. That's what water fasting is. It's like a beyond a spring clean, where a juice fast is a feast. It's not shutting off your system, and it's basically going through and just cleaning up over here and over here and over here and over here, while still maintaining a degree of energy. So that's the difference. That's the major difference. Oh, Michael Nolan. Yeah, I think that really depends on the person. You said, should you have a time management program for your week to invest your time more wisely? Does that come make you attached to the outcome? That's a very good question, and I think it comes down to the person. It comes down to you and your, whatever your state of being is. I think that for most people, that's a step that most people need to take, because they come from such a left-brained, right-handed, masculine, organized concept of the world working in a linear order, that they need to work. They need to have some sort of order that way, that they need to plan investment wise. But in the real world, in the real things that are going on, a seed is planted and the seed births itself like this, and it's very feminine, it's very right brained, it's very creative, it's very left handed, it's very expressive in a way different way. That the investment and the outcome is two different things. So it would take more deprogramming to get to the point of doing it if there is a right way, which would be, hey, here we are now, what's next, versus, okay, let's plan out all of this, here's how we got to invest this time. But I think most people are so much already schooled by the system inside some sort of linear processing consciousness, that they need to do some sort of, let's write this out. Hopefully that makes sense, Michael. Yeah, Gatesh. I mean, that is the point for everybody. It's like, at what point do people start to go, okay, well, shit, D- Is there any, some people get to that point, Katesh, where they go, what the fuck isn't poisoned? People come to that apathetic point. I think for most people that woke up in the journey somewhere, and they just start looking around. They go, what the fuck isn't poisoned? What isn't ruined? What isn't tainted? Man, you're telling me everything is wrong? You're telling me even the shape of the earth is wrong? Oh my goodness, you're telling me everything my teacher was teaching me in school is wrong? Not only wrong, but is misguiding me? A misguidance system? And you're telling me now that the corporations that we've been working for are actually doing more harm to the planet than good? Oh man, you're telling me that everything here is just like, whoa. And then people become very apathetic, that they go, well, shit, any choice is a good choice because it doesn't matter. It's all poisoned. We're all going to hell in a handbasket anyways. And that's the major thing that most people get stuck in, because it's a very difficult thing to, you know you're either on the other side of the river where you're just like, oh, everything's money, everything's time, I'm enjoying myself, and you're already come from that ilk. You're cut from that cloth, that money and energy is something different. But then you're disassociated to the human experience. But then you have people that are making that transition from being very human, like crawling and through the muck, and then all of a sudden seeing how sincerely degrading and derogatory and inhumane everything is in this society. That going, whoa, shit, I need to somehow put myself in line with things that aren't like that, and there's a small number of it. Luckily, we seem to be in a position in the world now where more people are very aware to what's going on, and we can communicate this way and kind of connect some sort of system, some sort of like, hey, I'm a entity, you're an entity, and we both seem to have the same intention of goodness and sharing in our hearts, so that shareable wave, expands. Where in the past, like, there was no way to do that because it didn't exist. The only thing that we had a choice of was Coke or Pepsi. Now we actually live in a world, there's not only Coke and Pepsi, but there's some organic varieties. And in fact, the furthering version is that, hey, I actually know I can get on Amazon, or I know a person down the street that can go and get me the plants that make what's inside of Coke or Pepsi. And not only can I can make that syrup that is actually Dr. Pepper, and know that all of those plants are actually made and sourced holistically, etc., etc. And now I'm turning it back into what Dr. Pepper was, actually a medicine. And now I can go and make that that drink that you see as a soda pop that's disgusting and filthy, and I turn it into, alchemize that entire system and turn it back into what it used to be by using all the herbs and using the honey or the real sugar cane or whatever. And all of a sudden we've changed the system, we've altered it completely. But most people, getting to the point of going through the alchemy of creating that is, that's a long process. Manny Fam, if you were gonna do a fast, you should do the juice fast, then do water fast. Do the juice to the water. Don't do it the other way around. That's the way to do it. What would it do? It depend on where you start. You know, your position is well different than anybody else's. A juice fast will maintain that glucose that you need in your system. Will keep you running on a decent amount of energy and fuel, and it will also give your body a break from digesting heavy solid foods. So by doing that, your body's going to start cleaning other organs out that it usually doesn't get a chance to. So you're going to be cleansing while still maintaining a degree of your system being turned on, and adding the glucose that your body needs to run on, because your body is fueled on glucose. And so that would be the better way to do it. Transition. So that way, after the water fast, you go fruit juice fast for a few days, then do the water fast for 3 or 4 days, 4 days, and then you'd immediately want to start juice fasting again after the water fast. So it would make sense. Yeah, man, Unston. See, I never I never calculated the lie of school until well after. I was good in school. I was following the directions. I was in the extra credit curricular classes, taking collegiate classes in high school. Like I went to three different colleges. I went during high school. Like I was like all about that, like education and mathematics and business and blah blah blah. And then there was somewhere in there I was like, oh, wait, how come these teachers are teaching me the same shit I already learned? Didn't I learn this in high school? What's going on here? Oh man, Michael Nolan. That's a good question. Yeah, I think that's like anything. I think it's just how to deal with resentment after bad luck and wasting energy. Just learn how to use it in the future. Start doing some meditation and sigil work not to waste it wrong in the future. That's about it, man. There's not much you can do about, like, sit there and sulk. You can only do that so much, huh? What up, Flo Bartholomew? I think I've said this many times. One meal a day is probably the best way to eat. I think the most intelligent way to eat is to eat one meal at at dusk. That's it. If you're eating anything in the morning, you should wake up in the morning. It should be water, lemon water, lime water, maybe some juice. Maybe shouldn't be a meal, and then you shouldn't eat again until sundown. You should be building up your appetite throughout the day. If you actually knew what hunger was, you wouldn't want to eat during the day anyways. You ne- Once you've been cleansed, you don't feel hungry because you know there's a difference between thirst for water and hunger for food. It's a wildly different thing. But most people disassociate. They think they're hungry when they're thirsty, and so they eat. Like, why are you eating? Well, because I'm hungry. No, you're thirsty. Drink a glass of water. See how you feel. You still hungry? You didn't get me hungry. Yeah. so so yeah, eat a meal at sundown. That's the from my studies and research into all this, and the way that I've felt best, and the way that I've known it to seem to work correctly. Everything that it seems to be saying. You get up in the morning, you pass what you had from the night before, and you pass that with either the use of coffee in the morning. Again, coffee, you want dark roast, turn it into espresso, best way to do it, not chemically thing, whatever. If you don't like the choice of using coffee, well, you know what? Juice should do the job for you. You're just lemon water will get your system going. Lemon and lime water, maybe a tea, whatever you like. Then throughout the day, any kind of liquids you like. Probably tea throughout the day, and then eat at sundown. That's when you will be properly hungry, and then your body will go into, oh, thank you for feeding me. Now I'm tired, and put you to bed. Manny, juicing before sundown. I've always found it gave me too much energy, but just see how you feel. I would say use darker vegetables towards evening, root vegetables. Just think about it this way, conceptualize this. Beneath the ground, above the ground, and in the air. The things that are in the air tend to be the brightest of colors, and those bright colors are actually working on your mind. The things that are vegetation and above ground are all for this area here, and they seem to be in the middle color range. Things below ground, roots, darker colors. They push things down. They're heavier. So, root and root vegetables and vegetation coming up through the ground would be the best thing to have during the evening. So during the morning, you'd want the brightest things, the most uplifting things. And how much should you drink? As much as you feel. That's always a the goal should not the goal should be to be satisfied. That's the goal. What do I think This observing self-like reactions to things. I don't quite know what you mean. I'm not getting the questions out of that. What do you mean? What do I think about it? I don't quite understand what you're saying, Michael. What do I think? This observing self-like reactions to things, and reread that to yourself. I'm not getting what you're saying, man. Yeah, Flo Bartholomew. Apple cider vinegar and distilled water work for you. Yeah, some people apple cider vinegar can be a little aggressive for because it is of a lower pH. Some people like it. Again, that's these things go into like it's hard to say. Oh no, the best thing in the world is use this, and it's not just not true. Some people's pH of their body is in this direction. Some is in that direction. Some people need more. You know, like it really depends. But some people like the. I consider apple cider vinegar as well as like a lot of lime juice and as well as hydrogen peroxide to be like turbo boosters for cleansing. Some people don't you should some people would get into it too much and they're like, oh, a big glass apple cider vinegar. That's not a really great idea. Yeah, the colors of the food work best. It's called the rainbow bridge in the biggest way. Like if you want to take a fast and do a real deal fast, it's 49 days, 7 days on each of the colors, and you run through the rainbow bridge. Joseph in the Technicolor dream coat, and you run through red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But on a daily thing, the concept would be you're obviously you call them chakras if you want. You can call them any word you want, but the three levels in your temple, the three levels to existence, the three levels to everything that I speak about is what's beneath the ground, what's above the ground, what's in the air, and those things work on those parts of your body. And if you have something to do during the day that is very heady, you'd want to consume something that is from the fruit of the tree, the fruit of the knowledge. If you have something more physical that you need to do that you want some energy for, it seems like you'd probably want something more grounded out and earthy, and you want to go to bed and be grounded out. What's up, Alchemy Gains? So yeah, that's the move. Yeah, the apple cider vinegar and the honey is I've always liked that. I do enjoy that. What's up, Ileer? Yeah, I use hydrogen peroxide mixed with alcohol and uh, like peppermint crystals, or there's another kind of like crystals they sell. There's like menthol or something like that. I forget what the other very minty stuff. But put that in there, shake it up, and use that as mouthwash. It's awesome. Yeah, because that hydrogen peroxide when you mix it up right, because it's going to be a little more than the 3%. Maybe like mix it up to like 6%. But that food grade stuff is awesome, awesome stuff. Thank you, Alchemy Gains. Yeah, Michael Nolan, I get what you're saying. I mean, I don't, I'm still a little confused on like what you want me to say on that. You mean reacting to situations by seeking approval with unconscious habits, unconscious behaviors with people, and also, I mean, you're just making statements there. I'm not really, I'm sorry, dude. I don't really, well, I'm not sorry. I just don't understand what you're trying to ask me. Like, what do you, like, I'm reading what you're saying, and you just made a bunch of statements about observing and reacting. So I'm maybe you could boil it down to a question of because I don't I don't understand. I do not compute. I do not comprehend. Alchemy, you should drink your piss whenever, man. I mean, obviously, I don't. As I've gotten to this with people before, I think the best way to get into it when people haven't been consuming a lot of urine, you tell them, oh, you got to get into urine therapy. Drink your first piss of the day. That's going to turn people off to it. You want people to drink. If you start drinking your piss, the first drink you should have should probably be you should probably juice fast for the day, and then towards the end of the day when it's coming out quite clear, then you'll get an oh, it's not as bad as I thought. and then you'll grow into the understanding. Okay, these foods are actually affecting what's going on with my body in that first piss. If you've been eating garbage food, cooked foods, etc., it's not going to taste as good. Best fruits for fast. Manny Farm. Where are you living right now? What's your local environment? There you go. I mean, consider that. If you're in a colder climate for a juice fast, a colder climate, you're probably going to want to be doing more of a vegetable cleanse, not a fruit cleanse. What's growing in your area? Just ask yourself the simple question: what's growing close to where you are now, and what's the temperature like in your city? Because you want to work with the viscosity of your blood right now. That's a big thing, and because the first time I did a fast, I did a water fast during the winter. Not a great idea, but I'm a little crazy. I'm a nutcase, right? So I decided to do my first water fast in the middle of winter in Baltimore. So I wouldn't suggest it. It's not a great idea unless you have it planned out of coming and going to places and having a place to get into saunas and things like this. It's a rough trap, but a rough ride. Excuse me, but doing a fruit juice fast. If you're in Ohio right now, you're probably going to be getting into the winter vegetables, the vegetation. So Michael Nolan, I'm really absolutely still having trouble saying what I'm supposed to be saying to this, but I get what do I think about seeking acceptance and validation from people? I don't consider it. I don't see it. I think it's a silly concept. Obviously, your life is lived for you. Period. End of sentence. You know, the only thing you should do for anyone else is after you're capable of living your own life. You think I wear this for me? I wear this because I love it, and because maybe you guys might get something nice out of it too. But all in all, I like the comfort of it. That's number one. Number two is like I don't really have to look at it. Y'all got to look at it. When I walk out in public, so it's fun for me, right? But do I wear this so someone accepts me? Yeah, this is gonna get people to accept me. This is get more like, what the fuck are you wearing? you know, it's like I don't know, man. I don't know what that has to do with really the idea of drinking semen, but you know, I don't seek validation. I don't know any successful person, and when I say successful, I mean people that have succeeded in becoming what they desire in life and what they want, because that is success. It's not anything else. Succeeding is to do what you desire. It doesn't include validation from others in any way. If you look for validation in others, you've fouled the whole game. Manny fan with the sauna. Thank you, Sanjar. Yes. Shake up the monotony of normalcy. Yeah. You should, if you've never read one of my favorite books, Sanja, is The Insanity of Normality by Arnold Gruen. It's a great look into how things are structured here in society and how absolutely insane people are that are normal. There you go. See, thank you, Katesh, for answering that simply for me because I couldn't figure out what he was asking for. Just swoosh it, just Saturn it, just Nike it. Just get it done. Do whatever you want. What up, Kenneth? Yeah, that goes into I guess maybe your earliest question or your earliest statement was like you were saying like when you're not no fap you kind of you gain because you're charging yourself up and you're gaining energy and that energy oozes off of you as your auric field, which is a static electric field around you that's pulsing that people can sense and feel. So of course women will be more attracted to you. And so but what is the goal of what is that? by doing that is you're focused on self. That's not for that. If you think the result is for that, well, that's all well and good, but the point is you're storing up that energy in yourself. You're pushing that energy into yourself by not releasing your energy. That's mine. The woman comes and wants to talk to you. No, thank you. It's a pleasure to see you, lady, but I've got this energy of mine right here. It's mine. That's, you become attractive when you have everything you want and you desire nothing from anyone. You become very attractive to other people. This is what's said. I don't know that that always works, but seems to. Seems to. What's up, Kenneth? Yeah. Enjoy that book. It's a pretty quick read, and it's I really like it. Really good stuff. I'm going to go grab myself a beverage, and while I'm doing that, all of you can figure out, there's a couple buttons. All you got to do is push the little thumbs up button, and so when I come back, I'll feel very, very validated. I'll feel validated by all of you for having done all of this work that I expressed and pushed out to all of you, and I'll feel very rewarded. And I'm just making this joke for Michael Nolan here, but yeah. It's like a blinker. It's like a turn switch. It's real easy. It's just polite to do it, What time is it? Oh. Wait, after work? It's only 2:45. Right? Is it 2:45 right now? It's only an hour. Okay, cool. Dog. Okay. Back in the building. Oh. You said plus the soda. What'd you say? Plus the soda? You know that ain't a soda. Oh, look at this. I actually match I match my globe now. Maybe I did this as a. This is a very good. This is a very it's a good picture. Some old alchemist of the past.
Talking to me or people?
I'm talking to people. I'm not talking to you no more.
You were saying that right now? You're online?
Oh, no, I'm on here.
Are you live?
I am.
So they can hear me?
They can hear you.
What do you think I sound like?
They do not. They can't hear you. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to this one over here.
They can hear me.
Doing a live show right now. Okay, back to whatever's going on here. Mr. Bizzles. Who do you want to see, Manny Farm? You want to see the dog? What up, Jordan? Oh wait, they can hear you, Omi. She don't want to be on camera right now. She's one of I have like 3 or 4 of these. I guess you call them. They're workers. They work for a certain type of community that we will not speak of. I pay them hourly. They come and go.
Now you're just making up things up.
She works in the oldest profession. The oldest profession. Yeah. No, that's not what we call them, Maddie. Yeah, the instance you've been eating too many of the mushrooms, man. The dog is not talking. But yeah, what's next? Bump. Where were we finishing up here? Oh yeah, I was giving Michael Nolan some advice, and then you know, I Katesh. Oh well, there's a few of there's one of them that I like, Katesh. I've never known any though, actually. So I've had a couple of friends that are. I've never really participated in the. Never participated in that business though. I've only been to LA or in LA. Yeah, I've only been to Las Vegas one time, and I didn't use that part of the town. I did what everybody else did and just got really drunk and threw my money at slot machines. So I leave the room. I go through that whole. Try to instill a little bit of energy in y'all to push the button, and I get 3 extra likes. This is awful. This is what I do this for. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Oh, there we go, Nolan. Okay, I'll answer that. Yes, there's a certain amount of energy, obviously. I mean, it's got to go through the digestion process. It's probably of a much higher value to put it in the belly button, put it on the stomach. Honestly, that's just the way to go, because the digestion of it is going to pull apart the living thing, where you know your skin is just absorbing it. Oh yeah, yeah. There was yes, yeah. This is the where'd you live in New Orleans? What part of the city, Sanja? Exactly, Katesh. All of us. Not a damn one of us that are not of the innocent pure blood. Yeah, the belly button. There you go. Like, think is the portal to life and everything right there. And it seems to be a good place to, good place to send it is right there. Simple mathematics. And it's also obviously good skin food. So the face works well. Yeah, it's definitely good facial ointment, as there's lots of good things in there. Alchemy Gains, go watch the video that I explained my perception of flat Earth. I get into the different realms and things of that. So yeah, flat Earth and Taurus zones. Yeah, just go watch the video I made on flat Earth and the different realms and how I perceive it. I think that'll answer your question and probably lines up pretty closely. And I get into it through octaves and things. It's maybe like 45 minutes long. There's probably 2 that I did on it. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll search it out for you. But just always hit me on another video and because I don't get to see these comments. So if you can find it, that's cool. If you can't, let me know. Mid-City next to Whole Foods, for real? I lived down there for a little bit too. Next to Whole Foods. I live next to Rouse's. Next to Rouse's in Mid-City. You know the Red Door Tavern is? Oh, right over there. Jordan, much better than Down the Hatch. I mean, hey, Down the Hatch ain't a bad idea, but you know, it does have nutritional components. Like preference for, I think most men would be Down the Hatch, though, huh? Yeah, Michael, I would say the same thing kind of occurs. A couple people on here said they had just done it recently. I think, was it Aldrin? No. Somebody else said that they had done it. Maybe it was Cam. I don't know. TsarZen, he said he did, I think. I have before. I figure if I'm gonna be donating that stuff to others, that I should probably know what it tastes like. But yeah, I think you're probably wasting a good amount of the energy. I think you probably are. It's hard to really say, because you've already wasted. As soon as it comes out of you, you've already lost the energy to begin with. So it's hard to say how much energy am I getting back. Do I want to go outside and run a marathon after I just no, probably not. You could test your kids are into belly buttons lately, or do you mean other people's kids are into your belly button lately? Oh, Alchemy Games, was I telling you to watch the video? Yeah. Have you already seen it? That's the. Yeah, because I haven't seen the Taurus zones. I'm assuming you mean Taurus, like Taurus, like Taurus, not like Taur, like the bull Taurus. Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying, Katesh. Okay. Like, what's that about? That's just a weird little hole there. That's a. Michael Nolan. I would assume you probably do. Yeah. I mean, at least from my awareness, it seems to be, because whether it is actually the different levels of what kind of fluid is it, whether it is urine, mainly as a constitute, urea, or it's other fluids. Yeah, you're getting something out of it. There's a net gain in energy that you'd be receiving. And from whatever experience I've had with it, it seems to be, yeah, there's more energy gain out of it, especially if you look at it from an electrical standpoint. And let's turn something really awesome and sexual into electricity. So let's just talk about electric. Yeah, Jordan, you can't. You about to start. Oh, you said about to start that. That's why Manny said that. He thought you were talking about starting with something else, not the fruit juice fast. Yeah, you can't. Come on, Jordan. You can't come in here and be a pretty girl and expect to get anything but crude mal humor. Unacceptable, Manny. Unacceptable. What's my take on people into drinking blood and is there meaning to it? Yeah, certainly meaning to it. Certainly energy in blood. My take on it is probably not a great idea. The whole vampiric thing is what we try to get away from. Like Manny Farm, just the furthering of this is if you eat meat, you're a blood eater and you're a vampire. So anybody to go, what are you talking about? Drinking and eating blood? If you've eaten any cow, bacon, pig, whatever, you're a vampire and you're succubusing blood out of other animals. There's no way around it. So from that level, the whole world is a bunch of vampires and blood succubusing, eating from our brothers and sisters' blood, being the animals. But from the level that I guess you're talking at, which is either the general sense of taking a chalice and taking blood out of something, or taking a woman's fluid, her blood from around when she's having a period. Yeah, there's energy in that. Obviously, blood is energy. Blood is, what is the force behind life. So it's not a very good idea, because obviously you can get as much, if not more, energy from living systems of foods, and you, by cleaning yourself first, then interacting with the food that wants that to be done, not with obtaining the fluidium and the energetic potential that's actually within the electrical charge of the blood. So that's what people are after. They're after electrical charge. They just don't know what to call it. But if you knew that you could get the same kind of electrical charge by sticking your tongue in an outlet as you would from drinking blood, well, then maybe you'd plug yourself into an outlet. I mean, if you put the voltage on correctly, you would be getting exactly the same kind of pulsing of energy. Or just bypass that and then just eat the food. Or just breathe the prana in the air with the electricity and then go find yourself a waterfall and then breathe the negative ions and all of the energetic potential around there in, which then becomes what is your spirit, which is your breath, which is energy systems, which is, and there it is. I mean, do I need to drink blood to have energy? No, I could just walk outside and deep breathe. I could just do a bunch of, I could do some Wim Hof breathing method, and I wouldn't need to eat the blood because it wouldn't make much sense. It keeps you very, it keeps you in a state of relying on, of unself-substantiation. Let's put it that way. If the whole goal is to be self-substantiating and to be able to be a being unto yourself and then engage with the world as a whole, meaning I can solve for my own equation by consuming nothing but prana and maybe some urine, then you've become self-substantiated. That's the kind of concept and goal. And then if you step outside of that, like what's the first step outside of that? The first step was eating the apple. Then it was eating the food on the ground. Then it was digging up the roots. And then it was, oh, let's kill that animal and eat the animal. Then it was consuming the blood. And then it's, oh, we can get this right from the humans. And then we could, yeah, we've lost our way at that point, huh? Remedies for high libido to control it. Eat a lot of grounding foods. Too much electrical charge in you. Eat foods that are grounding. Anything from the ground. That would seem to be it. More electricity in high vibe foods. More grounding. Take your shoes off. Those things help. The stored up energy is what you want to dissipate. Like you don't want to get rid of the energy per se, but you want to ground the charge out by taking your shoes off or eating foods that are from the ground, because they're both. This is actually kind of steering into the conversation that Electric Tao wants to have, that I'll do pretty soon, on the electrical and magnetic foods. There's electrical and magnetic foods, which you'd call masculine and feminine foods, which are, charge generating. Both of them, energize the body just differently. Of course, Viking in blood. Yeah. I mean, hey, Flo Bartholomew, look at the video that I did called Viking cows. You'll get a little more clue in there. But yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason. Like, if we lived in a tribal situation where mainly what we were doing was eating from the land and having husbandry with cows and things like this, and consuming bread and fruits and vegetables, and occasionally having that one major event of, slaughtering the cow to the gods. And if we understood what the gods are, what we're really talking about, it's something completely different. But then if we're going to use the thing, use all of it. So why would we waste the blood? Why would we pour the blood of that down the drain when if you're going to kill it, then use all of it? And so there's obviously something to that. And they would also take that blood, and besides consume it, they'd put it into the fields, yeah? And it would be part of growing the crops, because in that blood would be all sorts of energy and minerals and et cetera, et cetera. So cool. Yeah, there you go, Flo. And Jordan. Oh, delicious. I feel this beer here is from I don't want to, no, I don't. Well, this whatever. This video is going to be simpler times. It's from Trader Joe's. It's actually fantastic. Fantastic beer. What's next? Oh, Torin. Astral projection, most helpful. You know what? I really don't like doing those things. I could do like a top 10 list of things that you could do, but because everyone is way different, the one thing I would say would be to wake back to bed is one of the easiest ways. Wake back to bed, as well as sleeping at a different place, in a different part of your house, at a different hour. Do something that you normally wouldn't do. That will help. Sleeping at someone else's house helps. Doing a nap during the day, making sure that your eyes are completely covered, so it's dark. A lot of that is to do actually as well. Being somewhere else, usually you'll end up not having a blanket on if you're sleeping on a couch or something, or you might have a different sheet on, or just like one of those like throw blankets that end up being way different than the chemically laden polyester sheets that you're using at your house. So by sleeping at a different time, your brain is already into theta realms rather than the really deep delta realms. So you'll end up going into theta realms to sleep, and you won't have anything over your body, so getting out of body will be a lot easier. And so, but again, out of body, astral travel, and astral projection are three different things. It's hard to really. The easiest explanation is astral projection is to project your consciousness that then takes your spirit somewhere into a different time or a different place altogether. Astral travel would be literally to get out of your body and go somewhere, like in real time. I would say that would be the easiest way of explaining the difference. And out of body is just like really like just get out of body, look around, and there's you, and there's your cord. I think astral projection and astral travel, I think they can be used in different terms. So it's really, they're synonymous in the sense that you're literally having a spiritual experience outside of your body. That's the similar aspect. I don't know who Bob Sanders is, Michael Nolan. Um, yeah, it's as dangerous as anywhere else. I mean, when, walking down the street's pretty dangerous. It's dangerous in the sense of consciousness. So like, if you fear it, then you might manifest it. That's the way it's dangerous. I don't know anybody that's had only good experiences in the astral realm. You'd be a very lucky person, and you must have a very controlled consciousness to be able to always have excellent experiences. But once you know you're in the astral realm and you know you're manufacturing and manifesting it, then there's not really much to fear there, because it's just your mind, and you're just producing it. You're just producing the environment, and you're traveling through your spiritual body into different realms and frequencies. So I don't know any. Again, I don't know Bob Sanders. A bad spirit can attack itself to you. A bad spirit could attach itself to you in this life. What's the difference? And so don't go there. So don't go. So don't walk out of your house. So put yourself in a. You know what else? A good spirit could attach itself to you. You can't rely on Bob Sanders' position that there's a bad spirit that could attach itself to you. Well, maybe Bob Sanders shouldn't go into the astral realms, and leave it to the good people that are out here. Yeah. I mean, I'm just being playful, but I don't. There seems to be quite a few people out here that are getting in and out of astral realms on a regular basis that don't seem to have some sort of worry or whatever about. It's part of it. There's archons and angels and demons and spirits and whatever, but shit, you get poisoned going to Denny's. You know what I mean?
Why? So
good. There you go. There's Michael Nolan. There's sex everywhere. Sex is happening right now everywhere. In all forms, in all facets, at all times. Sure, but no. Actually, funny enough, most astral realms there tend to be lessened because people are exploring in different ways. But there are realms that pretty much strictly that. So it depends on where you want to go. Depends on what you want. What experience would you like? What frequency would you like to be on? So check it out, y'all. Spent another 2 hours here, so I'm gonna make my way to do some more things in the outer realms today, because I've been inside all day. I'm gonna go get myself a little sunshine and whatever. But yeah, I might jump on here later today. But the last 2 sessions have been fun. Hopefully everybody's got something out of it, and we'll dig into all this other stuff later. Stay awesome, do cool things. Feel free to give me a thumbs up and inspire the world if you can. If you can't do that, at least eat well. And if you find that you have too much currency and energy overflowing in your system with all of your extra sexual energy that's just overflowing, you can go beneath these videos and push the button to say, hey, I'd like Zen to have a little bit of my currency so he can go have some more beers and, come back and give you guys 2 or 4 hours of my time and answer all your questions, because these things inspire me to talk more to you guys. So, have a beautiful day. Do cool shit.